Say without a shadow of a doubt, is the Cronkite Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for taking the time out to tune in because without you guys I would not have a show. Hold on, let me edit the privacy on this thing. All right. Without you guys, I wouldn't have a show. So I thank you for taking the time out to tune in to me. I got a lot going on. That's why I haven't been coming on consistently like I do. But when I pop in, I got something I need to talk about and I need to go over some things. I want to say kudos to everybody out there that's doing what they do. Keep being safe, especially if you live in Harris County. If you live in Harris County, it's very, very dangerous out there right now. So be careful when you're out and about. Something came across my desk a few days ago, and I found it very, very interesting. Um, it was a situation that was brought to me by a young lady that I know. I know her. Her name's Mary Courtney, and I had no idea that she was working for the Lina Hadalgo Campaign. She no longer works for them, but she was working for the Lina Hadalgo Campaign. And if you guys can, please push the share button on this video. Let's get this thing out there as much as we need to get it out there. And she was working for the Lina Hidalgo campaign, and I get wind of the fact that she had to separate from them. They basically terminated her employment. Now, we know in the state of Texas, this is an at-will state. And when it's an at-will state, then according to employment laws, a company can terminate your employment for any reason they choose to, and they'll let you go. But that also is a little tricky because depending on who you work for, if they have a what I want to call it, if you have a employee handbook, then you have to terminate them according to the guidelines of the employee handbook in order for you to just let them go. So normally you have companies that'll write you up, multiple times, and then they have justification to terminate your employment. Uh, this story is kind of crazy because I was supposed to have Miss Courtney on the show tonight, and she decided not to do it. From a legal aspect, she has some things that she has going on, and with this situation, and that's why she's not here. But I loaded it up, and I've decided to continue on with the show that I'm going to do. Um, Lina Hidalgo has been accused in the past, allegedly, of not embracing African Americans that work for her campaign or that work directly for her. If she has African Americans in her circle, in her group of employees or campaign people, they normally don't play prominent positions. Maybe one or two, but according to what I understand, allegedly they don't play prominent positions. So she's basically only looking out for Latinos. I mean, here's my problem with all that. If y'all know that, why the hell y'all go work for somebody like that? If you know they don't cut for black people or they don't cut for white people, then why would anybody want to work for people like that? I know some companies out there that do that type of stuff. Back when I was in corporate America, I refused to work for companies like that. And that way I don't put myself in a position where I have to deal with them in regards to anything. So according to what I understand, allegedly, Hidalgo doesn't embrace African American employees in her circle. They don't play prominent positions. Well, Miss Courtney ended up on the campaign for Lina Hidalgo. And I gotta send an email real quick. Let me load this thing up. Let's load it up. We want to send it. Well, that's okay. I'll just show it from my phone. So, what Miss Courtney has alleged is that Lina Hadalgo discriminated against her as an African American female employee. And to some of y'all will be like, well, who gives a damn? Well, it gets a little bit deeper. It gets a little bit deeper. You know, if I'm talking about it, it's got to be a little bit more to it. There was a letter that went out, and I got some information from my good friend Aubrey Taylor, and I'm gonna show you what I got. It was in the form of an email. Let's share screen. Okay, I'm sharing a screen, and there was some correspondence between Aubrey Taylor. There was some correspondence between Aubrey Taylor and Mary Courtney. There was a letter that went out where Mary gave detailed information about how she was discriminated against by the Hadalgo campaign. And she called Aubrey, she left him a voicemail, and they started communicating through emails. And Aubrey responded, if you guys can see this, let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Let's see, can I make it bigger? I want to see if I can. Doesn't look like it because it's in an email. I can't make it bigger. But I'm gonna read this email to you. She called Aubrey. Aubrey responds in an email because he didn't answer the call. He said, Miss Mary Courtney, I received your voice recording you left me earlier today. Miss Courtney, I'm pleased to inform you that I'm considering the prospects of launching an investigation into your allegations against Harris County Judge Lina Hadalgo. Please send me supportive information to support your claims against County Judge Lina Hadalgo. Make sure to help me to clearly understand why I should tell the Black community to not support Lina's re-election bid on Tuesday, November 8, 2022 in the midterm elections. Also, it is my understanding that you are a lifelong Democrat. That being the case, please understand that my newspaper has already endorsed Alexander Del Moro Miller and believe that she values, respect, and appreciates our support. Would you be interested in openly telling the public about how you were treated by County Judge Hadalgo and her regime? Mary responds to Aubrey's email. Thank you very much for returning my call. After I messaged you, I contact Lily and my legal team, Lily being, I guess, Lily Schechter. The legal team has sent a demand letter to Lina Hadalgo. If you haven't heard from Lina Hadalgo's team, if we haven't heard from Lina Hadalgo's team by the end of the day on Friday, September 23rd, 2022, I will send along the resolution letter, which has numerous facts about what happened while working on the campaign. Please keep in mind that I am an independent who worked on Ann Sung and Elizabeth Santos's campaign when they first got elected to the school board in HISD. And you know that Ann Sung lost her re-election bid and Santos actually won hers. Venetia Johnson and Mike Kahn simultaneously during the Democratic primary election and were at the polls asking voters to vote for both. I've also voted for Democrats and Republicans in the past. Please feel free to access my voting record. You have my permission to distribute the letter that was basically hand delivered to Lina at a private fundraiser at Gene Wu's residence on September 9, 2022. Finally, I reached out to you to convey my experience, not to push an agenda of any other party, individual, or candidates. I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. All right. Now, she said she worked on Mike Kahn's campaign. Mike was a Republican running for HD 76. It's a new district. And she worked on Venetia Johnson's campaign, and she was a Democrat running for HD 76 in the primaries. So that means she worked for the Republican and she worked for the Democrat on both sides in their primaries, which is not unusual, people. Let me tell you now, no matter what anybody tells you, there are people out there that work on both sides to try and find the best candidates to get them to the generals. Okay. So she did that. Okay. So she emailed him back the letter. I guess this is a letter. The campaign discriminated against me on the basis of race, African American, in violation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and Texas Labor Code, Chapter 21. On August 31st, I attended the Donna Maria community event. My job was to network with potential volunteers and pass out yard signs at the event. Fred Woods, African American male, and I met at the beginning of the event when I went outside to get a few lawn signs to bring back to him. That's when RJ Colorado told me to stand at the volunteer table and that I was too engaging. Fred Woods is a tall black male standing in the back. See the images. I don't have those images, but we'll just take it for granted. Fred Woods was upbeat and eager to help volunteer for Lina Hadalgo's campaign. He even requested that I put him in touch with the representative for the Northeast side. On August 31st, 2022, I gave Ben Dillon, white field organizer, Fred's contact information. Okay. 2 days after the Dora Maria community event, RJ Colorado called me into a meeting with Island Rodriguez and told me that it was inappropriate to take photos with Honorable Judge Lina Hadalgo, Hispanic, the judge I was campaigning for. However, no other employees were subject to the increased scrutiny nor forbidden from taking photos with Judge Hidalgo. In fact, Island Rodriguez, co-manager Hispanic, may have many pictures on social media with the chief administrative officer for the Harris County Commissioner's Court, Judge Lina Hadalgo. Later that day, RJ Colorado called me into the office for a meeting. I'm making sure y'all are following me. It gets interesting. Keep following me. I escalated my concerns of racial discrimination and harassment to Jonathan Geldof and expressed that I had requested a meeting with Judge Hidalgo to further escalate my concerns of discrimination on multiple occasions, but to no avail. Instead of taking remedial action, RJ Colorado threatened to terminate me out of discriminatory and retaliatory animus. For the rest of the day, RJ Colorado subjected me to further increased scrutiny, watching my every move as I worked. RJ Colorado did not subject any of the Caucasian employees to this level of increased scrutiny. On September 8th, on a call for all campaign employees, RJ Colorado announced that the campaign overall would need to improve on its call metrics. After multiple attempts to meet Judge Hidalgo to escalate my concerns regarding the discriminatory and retaliatory treatment, I hand-delivered a typed letter further escalating my concerns of racial discrimination and retaliation directly to Judge Hidalgo. On September 9th, the day after escalating my concerns regarding the discriminatory harassment to Judge Hidalgo, RJ Colorado suddenly sent me a barrage of texts, further harassing me about increasing call metrics, which had been announced the day prior. However, RJ Colorado did not subject any of my non-African American counterparts to this additional baseless harassment, further demonstrating his discriminatory, retaliatory animus. On September 10th, Lily, co-manager, Caucasian, terminated me under the pretext of me supposedly being largely unresponsive, which is patently false and pretextual. First, no one at the campaign had ever raised concerns about me being responsive prior to the baseless termination, and the campaign failed to provide any details regarding how or when it claims she was supposedly unresponsive. This failure to provide any detail demonstrates that the reason is false and pretextual. Additionally, while no discipline was warranted, the lack of progressive discipline further demonstrates that the reason is false and pretextual. Further, the temporal proximity between my protected escalation and baseless termination combined with the pattern of disparate treatment as compared to my non-African American counterparts is further evidence of pretext. Therefore, the campaign subjected me to discrimination and retaliation on the basis of her race. Lina Hadalgo is no good for Blacks based on the mistreatment that I was subjected to. I want to stop right there. Lina Hadalgo is no good to Blacks based on the treatment that Miss Courtney said that she was subjected to. Is that a true assessment? Based on the fact that she wrote it, I guess she feels that that is a true assessment. I also, as a tax-paying citizen and as somebody who's very, very engaged in politics, as I said earlier, I have definitely heard that Hidalgo does not embrace her Black employees, nor does she give a damn about the African American community. She only cares about them in order to secure votes. Now, I want you to clearly understand this is not Miss Courtney's ideologies. When I say that, that is my ideologies. And anyone who has a problem with it, you can see me. And that's the way that I feel. I don't feel that this lady has a decent bone in her body when it comes to the African American community. And I will say that I don't think that she's off when she says it. I think that she is right on the money because it is what it is when it comes to Hidalgo. So let's go in here. I want to bring up another email. Okay, hold on. Let me double check something. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, let me share screen. Let's go here. All right. On this screen, you will see Aubrey puts out his blog, and what he wrote in this particular blog was, "Dear fellow Texan, I've been working for the last 2 years to embed some of the best people inside local political campaigns. As a result, my ongoing investigation and efforts, one of the best people has already informed me that Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee and her absentee ballot harvesting team are searching for ways to gain an unfair advantage to get a jump on the start for Carmen Maria Montiel." So as you can see, and I put that up there for a reason, Aubrey is very, very detailed in what he writes. He does the necessary research to make sure that he's fair, no matter who he brings up, whether they're Republican or Democrat. So if you are a Democrat, he'll tell you a new ass. If you're a Republican, he'll tell you a new ass. That's how I am on the war zone. I don't care who you are. You don't control the war zone, and I'm going to always tell the truth. So let's keep going. Let's go over here. Okay, this is a picture of Mary Courtney, and this is a picture of Lina Hadalgo and Lily Sector. If you remember, to me, Lily Sector is the former disgraced chair of the Harris County Democratic Party. That's how I feel. She got caught up in a bunch of stuff. Now, this is where it gets strange to me at. That according to Ms. Courtney, a severance package was offered. Okay, she separated from the campaign and they offered her a severance package. Why? When we start offering severance packages to get people off your campaigns. And from what I've been told, I think that Mary may have been there roughly 3 weeks. So in less than 3 weeks, she's done enough work to get a severance package. Okay, maybe that's how that operates. I don't know, but let's read what came up under that. According to the email, and this is from Aubrey, according to the email thread that was in email to me, Lily Sector's response stated, Mary, as you know from the organizational chart you and I reviewed, I am co-manager of the Lina Hadalgo Campaign. As part of what been a pattern of difficulty communicating with you, I've emailed you on September 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, and called you on September 10th in order to discuss your employment with the Lina Hadalgo Campaign. And you may have been largely unresponsive. The campaign and I thank you for your contributions, especially for your passion you have shown for the judge. The campaign, however, has decided to terminate your employment as of today. Attached to this email are documents detailing a severance package. Should you wish to take advantage of this offer, please sign the documents where indicated and return to me. I encourage you to have your lawyer of choosing review these documents before you sign them, since they do impact your legal rights. I hope to see you in the future Democratic endeavors. If you have any news, tips, or coverages, Aubrey's telling you to call him. So let me open this up. Let's see what we come up with. I want to make sure that I got this straight. All right. Why is a campaign offering someone a severance package for separating from them? Why did they need to separate from her in the first place? In the beginning, you heard me say that she worked for a Republican and a Democrat during the primary, which I told you wasn't unusual. Let me read Robert Williams' comment. Bro, as an activist, advocates who hold our elected officials accountable, Accountability 101 is getting info firsthand. Have you sat down with Lina? First of all, Rob, Lina ain't gonna sit down with me. Come on, bro. Let's get that straight, first of all. And because she doesn't sit down with me doesn't mean that I don't get the right to say what I need to say. If not, you have made a whole show of secondhand information. No, I have not. If I reach out and they don't want to talk to me, that doesn't mean that I can't go on and do what I have to do. If you have sat down with her, that's the conversation I want to hear. And if you don't want to hear this conversation, Rob, I love you to death. You can turn your computer off. You don't have to watch this. The OG has that type of influence to make these conversations happen. Yeah, I do. But at the same time, Hidalgo is not going to sit down with Gary Monroe. Let's get that straight. Hidalgo thinks she is above me, but I want to clarify something, baby. You beneath me. I don't care what the politician role is in the state of Texas. Your ass is beneath me. That's what it is. So the thing is that you have to sit back and you have to wait until I go through this, Rob. I've not attacked Hidalgo. I'm just stating the facts, which is what Mary wanted to do if she came on the show. Strictly stick to the facts. Anything I feel that I don't know or have not a lot of knowledge of, I'm going to say alleged. All right. So the thing is so now we'll go in here and I'm going to put this letter up that Mary wrote to, hold on, let me double check something. That she wrote to Hidalgo. Remember, she said that she gave a typewritten letter to Lina Hadalgo at a private fundraiser at Gene Wu's house. So let's go in here and read this letter. And it's to Lina Hadalgo from Mary Courtney, dated 9/14/22, and regarding Hidalgo's separation and general release agreement. To whom it may concern, Lina Hadalgo for Harris County Campaign. I am Mary Courtney, and I'm writing this letter in order to make you aware of my disappointment and of the damages done to my reputation regarding my tenure with the Lina Hadalgo re-election campaign. I am a political/campaign organizer. I have for years of experience in the field, and I have worked on several campaigns for various candidates at all levels of government. In working with Lina Hadalgo re-election campaign, however, my experience and past work have been ignored, and my advice and my style of engaging with potential volunteers, vice versa, I think that's what she meant, or maybe that's exactly. The campaign have been disparaged and ultimately denied, hence my termination as of date of termination email. I do not deny the campaign's ability to terminate any employee. However, in doing so, the campaign has interfered with my ability to get other employment from other campaigns by disparaging my reputation. I was hired because of my past work efforts, determination, and commitment to serving the community and doing my part to improve the world. I chose the Hidalgo re-election campaign from among several campaigns with similar opportunities in Austin, Pennsylvania, Alaska, and other cities for noteworthy candidates. Now, after having been terminated and then maligned by campaign staff within the Hidalgo campaign, I am no longer in a position to get paid employment doing what I love, which is serving my communities. What follows is an overview of the central details documenting my experience performing as Southwest Field Organizer, direct point for the Lina Hadalgo re-election bid. First bullet point, hiring interview. I had several conversations with staffer RJ Colorado before I was hired. I believed I was transparent, precise, and consistent. When I communicated my experience, which I bring to the Hidalgo campaign, I directly expressed to RJ and Island that I am an activist and an advocate with a reputation for operating within and holding to account institutions large and small regarding how they serve communities of color and disadvantaged communities. To wit, I have asked said institutions to live up to their express missions and their higher ideals. This is to ensure that institutions uphold their principles and make all appropriate attempts to reconcile grievances, deviations from those principles, thus ensuring fair treatment for all who fall in their various jurisdictions. I believe it is the people like me who make a difference in the integrity of services paid for by tax dollars by speaking up and speaking out against abuses. Second bullet point, racial discrimination complaint. After professionally addressing my concerns that Lina Hadalgo campaign was not reaching Black and brown communities, I began to see my position on the campaign staff was regulated to being seen as Black support for her candidacy, while I was disregarded and regulated to the position of Black optics/representation. To wit, at my very first campaign event, while I was greeting potential volunteers and voters, I was called outside of the event by RJ and remanded to sit at the table and not to engage. I was also instructed by the campaign staff not to appear in photos with the candidate and not to take photos with the candidate. My intellectual contributions and my efforts to operate fully in the capacity of my hired position were quelled. Next bullet point, harassment. RJ Colorado repeatedly demanded that I publicly slander Republican candidates by saying they are all liars. Offended by this demand that I comply, I did refuse to do so. Her character is not in question if she refuses to slander people. You see what I'm saying? Or call them liars. Anytime my perspectives were not in complete alignment with RJ Colorado, I was called into his office for a series of interrupted meetings during the workday for interrogative questioning. I was badgered to turn over my own list of contacts developed from my relationships earned in previous campaigns to the Hadalgo campaign. I felt I was being used and expected to render valuable information to the campaign, while also expected to carry out my duties like an automating without thinking. All right, next bullet point. Organizational chart. This is a letter that was given to Hadalgo by Mary Courtney. Hold on a second. I want to go in. Okay, so here we go. All right. Organizational chart. Several times within the 2 to 3 weeks of my engagement with the Hadalgo campaign, I was given several bosses to whom I was expected to submit. However, I was not given an organizational chart, even after requests which clearly spelled out to whom I would report within the campaign. When I finally did receive an organizational chart, I was not recognized on that chart. So it was never adequately spelled out who was my boss, and to whom I could raise concerns which were never addressed. Instead, I was asked to meet with one person after another, all of whom seemed to think I was wrong to raise questions and not to follow orders, even orders to slander other candidates. I attempted to navigate according to professional standard business practices to properly inform and reconcile grievances while continually to fulfill my agreed terms of the contract. As a last resort for resolution, I personally handed a typed letter to Lina Hadalgo at one of her fundraising events at the home of Gene Wu after several failed attempts to get the candidate to speak to me and other staff directly. She never responded. So this is not the letter that she gave to Hadalgo. She's telling you this is what she did. So this is a detailed bullet point. It's just going down the line of what she dealt with. Next bullet point: contact blackballing. As part of the termination letter, the campaign has asked me to refrain from disparaging the campaign and Lina Hadalgo in public. Is this the same campaign, according to Mary Courtney, that wanted her to slander Republican candidates? But prior to termination, individuals that are connected with the campaign have committed acts of defamation to my name and character, according to your pre-separation and general release agreement letter, which states, will not engage in any conduct that disparages you publicly, presumably because the campaign might be adversely affected. Showed the campaign is aware that making unfounded accusations is indeed problematic, yet the campaign was already engaged in damaging my reputation and chances of gainful employment in the short term on any other campaign. I can provide names of individuals who have made me aware of disparaging talks about me inside the campaign if needed. Request for contract fulfillment, next bullet point. As a result of all the antics of the Hadalgo re-election campaign and their misuse and mistreatment of me, I request full payout to me for the full compensation agreed upon in my employment contract with said campaign. I have looked and found that the opportunities have dried up for paid work for other campaigns mentioned earlier. The payout of my contract will compensate me for having missed career advancing opportunities due to no fault of my own. Without ever hearing me out, the campaign and Lina Hadalgo treated me poorly and terminated my contract. It is therefore my option to go to the media, social media, and otherwise to air my grievances, and I will not tell a lie, but I can if I must clear my name and reputation from the damages done by the campaign staff. I respectfully request What is minimally required to reconcile this matter, which is full payment of the contract as agreed through November 8, 2022. It is my hope that you also agree to this private reconciliation agreement, which would be optimal for both parties going forward. I would like you to know that I have sought legal counsel on this matter. Those are Mary Courtney's words, not Gary Monroe's words. An African-American woman who feels that she was discriminated against, that she only needed to be a part of a campaign so they could basically have a black face. Basically, she couldn't engage the communities that she comes from, the community she is a part of, which is the African American community. Now, whether people want to believe it or not, this happens every day in politics. It happens every single day in politics. No questions about it. It happens every single day in politics. Am I supposed to believe Mayor Courtney? Or am I supposed to believe Lina Hadalgo did not do this, or our campaign staff did not treat this African-American woman differently? As I've said before, in the state of Texas, you can be fired for any reason. No questions about it. I have back in the day. I mean, I moved on and went on by my business. But what Mary is telling them, since you wrongfully wanted to fire me, pay me my money. Pay me my money. Now, you know I've done my homework. And they offered whatever they offered. Maybe Miss Courtney doesn't feel that's enough. I think we have to do a better job of exposing people. Now, Mary Courtney for years has been one of those people that loves to hold politicians accountable. She loves to hold politicians accountable. So let's get something straight before I continue. That there's no reason for me just to side with Mary Courtney. We've had our differences in the past, but I am a guy that wants to get the information out and be able to tell the truth. So I don't have I can't win either way. If I went with her doggo or Mary, it doesn't matter to me. I don't gain anything from this. But whether people want to accept it or not, on the Democratic side of the ticket, Hidalgo is the choice. She is the current county judge. She is the current county judge. That doesn't mean that she's the best choice. And we as African Americans, regardless if they are the only choice, sometimes we're going to have to go a different route. Now, a lot of people don't want to do that because a lot of people got their hands in the cookie jar. And they're quick to call people liars. Well, here's the problem with this whole situation. Mary got some recordings. It's a dead cat on the line, bro. It's a dead cat on the line. Do I feel that Lina Hadalgo should be the county judge of Harris County, Texas? Hell no. I already know who the county judge of Harris County, Texas is. That's Rodney Ellis. Hidalgo's nothing more than a puppet. Let's get that straight from the gate. You know, according to Mary Courtney, they've made calls and they've talked down on her to where she can't get another job on a campaign. And they wish they could do that shit to me. But they can't. Because the arena that I'm in, they have no control over. Not at all. So I'm always going to be able to speak the truth because I'm not beholden to anybody except God himself. Except God himself. Do I believe what Mayor Courtney says, that Lina Hadalgo basically doesn't give a damn about the African American community, I believe that with 100% of my heart. I believe that. Are we just good enough for Lina Hadalgo to be a part of our community when it's voting time? I believe that. I believe that 100%. Do I believe that they discriminated against Mary? I don't know. I don't know all the details, but I will say this here. I know Mary Courtney normally has her ducks in a row. I will give her that, regardless how we didn't see eye to eye in the past few years or whatever. She normally has her ducks in a row. I want to read what Bill Steinkoff has wrote. And he said, my friend said, speaking the truth, my friend support a change in Harris County. Alexander Miller for county judge. Kyle Scott campaign, elect Jack Mormon, and all Republican judges. How do we dispute what Bill just said? How do we dispute that? My brother Robert Williams, we talk a lot. We don't agree on everything. He knows my heart. But how do we dispute what Bill just said? Crime is through the roof. Now everybody's turning on the judges, including the county judge. The county commissioner's turning on the judges. But y'all the people that push this shit. Bail reform for misdemeanors was one thing, but letting out violent felons was something totally different. You turned Harris County into a war zone. So how do we say Bill Steinkoff comment is not valid? How do we say that? The same way I know that African American politicians are complaining about the freeway expansion of 59, but 4 years ago, you told the public to vote for that referendum. But right now, complaining ain't gonna stop it. You already got your money. There has to be a change in Harris County. And our vote as African Americans is so sacred and so important to these politicians that they will put chucks and pearls on to entice your dumb ass some days and make you believe that they're going to take care of your community like they take care of other communities. You want to know if they take care of the African American communities? I want you to drive by West Side High School, Lamar High School, Bel Air High School. I want you to drive by Westbury High School. I want you to drive by Carnegie. And I want you to tell me how the grass look. Then I want you to ride by Yates, North Forest, Wheatley, Cullen Middle School, Worthing. Tell me how the grass look. If these bastards can't even go to the extreme to cut our grass at our public schools, how the hell are we supposed to believe you give a damn about the African American community? It's obvious that when certain things happen, some communities get additional police patrols and more of a police presence, but everybody wants to make us believe that we don't need the same protection in our neighborhoods. It's been a war going on in Black communities forever. There's been a pandemic in the Black community forever. And the pandemic that I'm speaking of is the neglect from politicians as it pertains to the African American community. Regardless if that representation is Black, white, Asian, Latino. When it comes to the Black community, we're treated indifferently. Should I be mad at the white affluent communities because they get all the help that they need? Hell no. I should be mad at the people that can make something happen that are not making anything happen, that want you to believe that they give a damn about the African American community. So when I think that this really happened to Mary Courtney, there's probably a 95% chance that it did. Because they don't give a damn about the black community just as they don't give a damn about black people. And that includes some of you black politicians that don't give a damn about your own people. But I be damned if Sylvia Garcia ain't gonna take care of people. I be damned if Gene Wu ain't gonna take care of his Asian partners. But when it come to us, the hell with the black community, and nobody seems to know who should be held accountable for it. So kudos to Mary Courtney for wanting to hold elected officials accountable. Kudos for her if this is 100% accurate, for bringing it out at a time where it could definitely affect her, because black people should not vote for anybody that does not value them as people. So here we come. Here we come. What do I think happened? I think Mary complained about the way that she was being mistreated. I think at that point that they decided to fully vet her, because maybe they did not vet her. I think at that point they found out that she had voted in the Republican primary. That in itself can get you kicked off a campaign. If she voted in the Republican primary and, now she works for a Democrat. So let's go in here, and I want to be able to show you something. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. See, I couldn't put it on the screen, so, bear with me. Okay. So as you can see, this is Mary Courtney's voting record. So let's switch. I had to do it like this, guys, because I couldn't get it over. And as you can see in the 2022 primary, let's see. There we go. You see the primary runoff? It says that Mary Courtney voted Republican. That was her choice. That was her choice. But you'd find it highly unusual that somebody who voted in a Republican primary would be working for a Democrat. Maybe they decided to fully vet her at that point. What do I think should happen at this point? Pay the woman, man. I know how y'all clowns operate. Pay the woman, man. At the end of the day, if this has affected her ability to earn money, I recommend that she files a federal lawsuit. I don't care if it was Hadalgo. I don't give a damn who it was. When you do people wrong, some days it comes back. And what I will do for my friend Robert Williams, I will reach out to the Hadalgo campaign and see if somebody would be willing to come and sit down virtually and talk to me. I want to give them an opportunity to see if they can clear this up without going too much into detail. I'm going to do this. Let's read D. Harris. Can you tell me who is over the jail? Who do you report to if inmate is being beat and not receiving medical care and not receiving medication? Report it to the sheriff, Ed Gonzalez. Report it to him, and let's see what happens from there. But that's what you would do. I believe in my heart that the United States of America is messed up because you have an elite status that thinks they know every damn thing. They know how to fix every damn thing. They know what's best for me. They know what's best for you. They know what's best for Bill Steinoff. They know what's best for D. Harris, for Robert Williams. And they've screwed all of this up on both sides. Both sides, Republicans and Democrats. You're not that smart. See, you're making political decisions and you're not making common sense decisions. And you screwed it up. That's why the school system is all screwed up. You got people that now sit on the school board that think that they are above us. Like I say, you motherfuckers, you really beneath me. But they know exactly what's best. And that's why it's all screwed up. There will be more coming from this story. Trust me. I just peeled the plastic off the meat. And the next time you hear from me, I'm going to cook the meat. I'm going to cook the meat. It is what it is. How do I feel about Lina Hadalgo? You guys hold on just a second. Research these candidates. You're at a pivotal, crucial time. You can change the trajectory of where Harris County can go from here. I'm going to speak for me as a taxpaying citizen and as a voter. I wouldn't vote for Hidalgo if she was the only one on the ticket. I would not. I would not vote for Ellis if he was the only one on the ticket. Would not. They've not been good for people. That's just me. But you guys, sit back. It's more to this. And I encourage the Hadalgo campaign, reach out to me, but I'm going to reach out to them tomorrow. Mayor Courtney, you're free to come on the program anytime you feel you want to come on. And I think that I was fair tonight, and I didn't drag either side. I think that I was pretty fair tonight, and I didn't drag either side. Because the truth needs to be told. We're dealing with too much in Harris County to keep dealing with this foolishness. Thank you for taking the time out. I may come back a little later because there's some other things I want to speak on. But I got some homework to do, so hopefully I can finish it in time, and then I can come back and we can go from there. It's the war zone with the 5-star general, where the truth shall be told, and there's nothing anybody can do with it.